Hello and welcome to Web Manuals Tutorials. In this video, I will be showing you everything you need to know about connecting your manuals to different compliance libraries. But before we start, I would like to go through what compliance libraries are in Web Manuals. The Web Manuals compliance libraries allow you to connect regulations to your manuals. So in other words, you can create live links between procedures in your manuals to individual rules, regulations, and aviation standards. The system will automatically monitor your manuals. Once a regulation is changed, you will be immediately notified. You will also receive an alert indicating which chapters or pages have been updated. Our aviation regulation partners are experts in the field. They continuously monitor regulatory updates to ensure our compliance libraries are maintained according to the current and valid industry regulations. So let's get started and manage our compliance connections. From the admin interface, in the blue menu on the left, let's click on Compliance Libraries. So here you see the list of all the libraries you have subscribed to, and if you click on a library, this will allow you to consult the requirements of that library and manage the compliance connections. Here under Requirement, this shows all the requirements in the compliance library. This can be expanded by clicking here on the expand arrow. The content of each requirement can be shown by clicking on the requirement's name. It's good to point out that the AMCs are color-coded in blue. Here under Connections, this shows the connections that have been made between requirements and documents. Connections can be removed by clicking here on the trash icon and can be edited by clicking here on the edit icon. Clicking on the document name takes you to the compliance section of the specific document. Clicking on the heading takes you to the page of the document containing that specific heading. So let's create a compliance connection. A compliance connection can be created by clicking here on the Connect icon. As you can see, it is possible to create compliance connections to all types of documents in web manuals: web document, file, and external document. To make a compliance connection, you need to choose a document from the drop-down list. And if you wish, you can specify a heading, a responsible person for the connection, a start date, and a frequency. Finally, you can add a comment which will be seen by the auditor in the checklist. And by selecting Include Sub-Requirements, you can extend the connection to the sub-requirements. When a compliance connection is no longer up to date, either because the requirement or the heading has been changed, it will be listed in red, like this. To correct the warning, you can simply click on the warning to see the reason why it is outdated. You can go to the target heading to make sure that the content still complies with a specific requirement. And from the compliance end, you can either correct the warning by either connecting it to another heading, or confirm that you still want to link it to the same heading, and the warning will disappear. When there is an archive label next to a document, it means the document that the connection was made to has been archived. When the library is not up to date, a warning in a red box shows at the top of the library. Libraries can be updated by admins from Managed Libraries. You may need to mark a requirement as not applicable. And you can do so by clicking here on the minus icon. The requirement, as you can see, will be grayed out and will not be selectable when making a compliance connection. You can also specify the reason why the requirement is not applicable, and the reason will show in the library. Next, we have assigning tasks. You can assign tasks related to compliance requirements by clicking here on the task icon. In order to add a task, you need to specify the title and/or write a message with some instructions, and the user that you would like to assign the task to, and a date within which your colleague needs to complete the task. And finally, you can send the task as an email notification, so your colleague will be notified in their inbox, and not only in web manuals. You can click on View All Tasks down here to see the list of all the tasks related to the library in question. If you wish to assign someone ownership of a requirement, simply click on this icon. Owners of requirements will be able to filter to only see the requirements they are responsible for. It's good to remember that owners will show in the compliance checklist. Under Document and Review, these functions allow you to mark requirements as documented and reviewed, so you can keep track of your work and resume it where you left off in the previous session. Hovering over the ticks allows you to see when the requirement was marked and by whom. Here under Compliance Checklist, this displays the compliance requirement references, the compliance connections made to the requirements, and the requirement owners, if applicable. By clicking on the Export button, you can export the compliance checklist in Excel format. By clicking on the Print button, you can print the compliance checklist. So let's go back to Amendments in our compliance library. Amendments will show the requirements that have been changed, added, and removed in comparison to the previous revision of the library. The contents of this view can be printed. The Print button allows you to print the compliance library with all the connections made. So we saw how we could connect a compliance connection to a document from the compliance library, and now I would like to show you how to do so when working on a document. So here is my document, and here I wish to add my compliance connection. We simply click here in the Overflow menu and choose Compliance. As you can see, this shows all the compliance connections in the document. You can filter connections by compliance library by selecting the one you're interested in from the drop-down menu. By selecting Hide Compliance Links under Headings, you can hide the references to the requirements that show under the headings once you have made a compliance connection. Let's click on Add and add a compliance connection to the document. We select a heading, a requirement, and if we wish, a responsible user for the connection, a start date, and a frequency. Finally, you can add a comment. And now, as you can see, the requirement is visible under the heading, and the connection will be listed in the compliance library under Connections. Thank you for watching, and see you soon for more Web Manuals tutorials.